Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk a little bit about IT now versus IT then. First, I'm going to get into what I know has changed, and then I'll get into what I'm not quite so sure about, but from the stories that the old guard has told me. So, what I do know, IT now is definitely a lot easier than it used to be on every scale, but we have less of a room for error because the people who are with us now have a lot more experience. Back in the day, you were thrown at a lot of issues. They just threw you at it, and however you did was how you did. Or alternatively, you could get contractors, and that's something we rely on more and more these days, it seems. Contractors, people that come in and get things done for you for a bit of money. But every time that I talk to someone from the old guard about how I can get more responsibility, they keep telling me, back in the day they just gave us this stuff and it was sink or swim, and we had the ability to destroy things more than you new kids have these days. So there's definitely that, which is unfortunate. And I see that more and more and more. The old guard, and let's face it, IT guys can be pretty particular, and the old guard holding on to it with an iron fist. And I see groups of people who are friends, old boys, that are letting their friends do things that they wouldn't let maybe newer guys they didn't know do the work. Now, that's probably for a good reason. There's probably safety in that, but still, it definitely does. It gets kind of interesting. Now, IT these days are definitely a lot easier than it used to be. Things are simpler. Things screw up on their own less. There's a lot of things that my old computer guys used to blame on the user when okay, maybe the user screwed it up, but the operating system shouldn't have been dumb enough to let you do it anyways, or it should have at least given you a warning. So one case is Windows 95. I was in the device driver. I forget why I was in the device drivers, and literally my hand slipped when I was looking for things, and I deleted the driver for my modem. And that was a deal breaker. That was end game, because this was my dad's computer that I was messing with. Keyword, messing. So I was losing my mind. How am I going to find this driver? What am I going to do? Where am I going to find it? But the thing was, something should have popped up to say, are you sure you want to uninstall this driver? And these days, that's exactly what happens. But again, back in the day, it didn't happen quite so much. You could get viruses easier back in the day. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still get viruses even by going to Google. But back in the day, it might be a while before you realized you had a virus. It was so easy to get a virus, especially when broadband popped in, because the systems were always on, especially with Windows XP. It wasn't hardened for a system that was always online. It's a lot harder to hack a system that's on dial-up, because it takes more time and you're not always on. It requires a dedicated phone line, of course. If you kids don't remember that, back in the day we used to have to use up the telephone line in order to use the internet, and it was really something, let me tell you. Anyways, actually, that is my main point about the old guard. They didn't have to have education. They didn't have to have all these courses and glowing recommendations. It seems like they just went in, they gave someone an idea they knew that they were doing, and away they go. Barnacules doesn't have any schooling, or at least not much schooling or accreditation when it comes to working with computers, but he got into Microsoft and he worked his butt off, and with the experience that he knew, he did a whole hell of a lot of stuff. You can't do that these days. You need all of these certificates. You need all these degrees. You need all that everything. And the funny part is that stuff usually costs a lot of money, and it teaches you the information you would have needed to use 5 years ago. It takes so long for schools to get the curriculum together, harden it, and then send it out. Make it good and then send it out. And by the time it's sent out, the computer industry has already changed. Not only is the computer industry in the middle of this renaissance, but we ourselves, even before that, within the last 100 years, have been in a technological renaissance with the machining that we got. Geez, if World War I never happened, the world would be a much, much different place. Necessity is the birthplace of new machinery, new things. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome. Anyways, that's it for me. Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff. Give me a thumbs up. Always appreciate it. And take care of each other. Catch you later.